8:45, and we'll call our meeting to order. Is there any public comment? Okay, with that, we'll go to item 2 and ask, is there a motion to pass a consent agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next item is to restructure and replace finance and central services effective today. We're going from a 1 FTE collections officer, grade 10 or B10, and we're going to restructure a technical coordinator, grade B11. Corey.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. My name is Corey KAMPF. I'm the Finance and Central Services Division Manager. Yes, we are requesting this. We had a vacant collection position. We've reviewed our practices, our needs, as we've gone through COVID and all the changes we've made. And one of our biggest needs is around analytics and having someone who does a little bit of collections but also helps us maintain the system we put in a couple of years ago. Does more analytics behind it, some more reporting, helps to drive more efficiencies throughout our collections. That allows us to take another collection officer position. And so we have fewer overall collection officers, but we're more efficient about our process and taking care of business. So,
Are there any questions?
I would move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
So even though it's more money, it's getting more done for the dollar. That's
correct.
what you're, yeah, that's good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Corey. Next is in transportation, the surveyor's office to restructure 1 FTE survey crew technician, grade B9, to a 1 FTE senior survey crew technician, grade B10.
Thank you. Hi, Madam Chair, fellow committee members. I'm Amy Honer, Operations Manager for the Transportation Division. And we have spoke about these positions in the surveyor's office for quite a few years. We've had challenges hiring at these levels for quite some time. We've been very creative in our efforts to recruit for these positions. And with Chuck Gitson, our county surveyor, and Joe MACPHERSON, our division manager, we kind of came together and decided and looked at the positions and really felt if we could go after and seek a grade 10 senior survey crew technician, we felt that we'd be more successful in hiring and hopefully retaining somebody at this grade level in the surveying field than we would at the entry level position at a grade 9.
Good. Any questions? Is there a motion to pass?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Amy. Next item is consider recommending adopting Resolution 2021 M4, establishing internal pay equity compensation for identified non-bargaining unit Anoka County employees for 2021. Steph.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee.
Morning.
As part of the work of employee relations during the past few years, we have been analyzing and discovering some inequities in process and in practice. Before you today, you have one of the things that we have discovered, which is well-intentioned practices within our departments and divisions in how individuals were hired and brought on board at the county. But for example, whether someone was brought on board at the minimum or minimum plus 1% or minimum plus 3% has resulted in these inequities where you have employees with comparable education experience, tenure at the county, but they're making different dollar amounts. And so during the past 5 months, the employee relations team has gone through and looked at all of the data for every employee in the county, analyzed it, and really worked with the leadership in the departments and divisions to look at where these inequities were. Went far behind the scenes in the layers of data to really understand, are there differences because there are different performance evaluation sort of outcomes or other explanations for why there are discrepancies and where there are not, to make recommendations to have these inequities shored up. What the goal here is to do this one time. So if you fix this once and we have a replacement classification system that's coming as part of the new HRMS system work, we won't be back here doing this year after year or having the situation compound. So it really is a one-time effort that, as you can see, certainly does add up. So this impacts about 542 of the county's employees. That's about 27% of our workforce. So it's significant. There are a lot of individuals that are impacted by this analysis that we have done. You can see the estimated amounts. We have worked with CORY and in Finance and Central Services and also with administration to make sure the dollar amounts are available to cover this. You can see the information there about how this would be covered. For 2021, it is a partial year, so it's not the full annual amount. The difference between this year's amount and the total available would then be carried forward to help fund it for future years. And the resolution is in front of you today for your consideration to bring to the full county board today. And just one last comment, the average increase is about 5.49%. So you have some that are much less. It's, you know, changes of pennies. And in some cases it is a bit more than that, but that is the average by department. So not by individual, but by department. That's what it equates to. Some areas of the county were certainly more out of alignment than others because their practice had continued for years and years. In some cases, it's been this way for more than a decade. And so you can imagine over time, as you apply the PBRM, performance-based merit increases, that only compounds the problem. So we certainly didn't create this. We're here to fix it. We want to do this one time, have this behind us, and then move forward from here. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Madam Chair?
Commissioner REINERT.
Yeah, actually, I was looking over this item, and I guess if there's no sense of urgency to this, and I'm assuming there's not, since this has been a problem for over 10 years, I'd like to postpone this item for the purpose of requesting more information. This is the management committee, and you know, for every single increase that we do on any employee, we have a separate report, and we look at, you know, I guess the validity of that. And here we have kind of a sweeping motion to give, you know, 500 people a raise, and I don't know that I'm against this. I don't, as explained, I don't think I am against it, but I also don't know if I'm for it because I don't have all the information I need. So what I'd like to do is postpone this so we can get some more information, and I'd like to see a list of, you know, what the increases are and positions and things like that, so I can just assess what we're doing, especially since this moves, not only affects this budget, but it does, you know, there's legacy to this into the future years.
Commissioner, be glad it's not back pay.
Yeah, well, I'm glad of that too.
What do we do in this?
Madam Chair, I guess I would ask if that was a motion to table it or if we're still going to have discussion.
Well, I guess, you know, I bring it out there put it on the table for discussion first, but yeah, then eventually a motion.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Schulte.
I think this is one of my highest priorities, is to get the pay structure in Anoka County fixed, straightened around, and this is a first step in that. None of it's going to be cheap. This is a first step, and as we move further into pay structure repair, it's going to cost more money. But we can't keep kicking the can down the road. That's happened for decades. This can has been kicked down the road, and we need to do it sooner or later. I understand Commissioner Reinert's desire for more information. I served on a number of committees over the last 5 years that studied compensation, and they all came out with the exact same outcome. We need a bunch of money to fix this. And I've had reams of documents that explained all that, and you should be entitled to look at those as well. So I don't know how time sensitive this is, but I am amenable to a motion to postpone or delay until Commissioner Reinert can get a comfort level.
Commissioner BRAASTAD.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know this has been a priority of ours, you know, to stop the turnover rates, make sure we're competitive in the workplace. But I agree that with Commissioner Reinert that it's okay to slow it down a little bit so everyone can be on the same page and have all the information and be comfortable moving forward, because this is such a big thing. So perhaps all the commissioners, even the ones that don't sit on this, I'm sure would be interested in getting some additional information. So I would support your motion to table the matter.
And I'm volunteering everyone to spend many hours on this, so you can thank me for that. But yeah, no, I just, and that's what it is. It's just getting a better comfort level and more information, just so we know what we're doing. Like I said, I don't think I'm against this, but I don't know if I'm for it until I see the information, so. And I agree with you too. I have seen a lot of corrections and a lot of talk about, you know, how things were handled in the past and the new way of correcting things, getting things a little bit more streamlined, and this looks like an effort to do that, so.
Madam Chair, I think the procedure here would be to accept a motion to table this item to a date uncertain.
And there's no second on that?
There is a second, but no discussion. And I'll make that motion.
All right. All those in favor?
But you need a second yet. I'll make the motion.
Oh, you're making, I thought he was.
Okay. Actually, I think the motion would be to postpone. The table is usually to address then later in the meeting, so postpone for a later date.
I'll second it.
All
So
right.
now you have a motion and a second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Sooner better than later, I would say.
Yeah, I'd be fine dealing with this in, you know, at our next meeting.
Rhonda?
Madam Chair, I think it would be helpful for Steph to know the type of information that you would like to have in order to feel comfortable moving forward. One of the challenges that we have faced, as all of you know, is that we have a broken system. We have the HAY system, which we have used for years and years. That is our classification system. That really no longer exists. So as a result, we have this, but the classification work is just another piece of making sure that we have a system that moving forward, we will not have to come back, as Steph mentioned. Part of the reason why this is being brought forward is as we move into the new HRMS system, it's garbage in, garbage out. So it's better to start with a clean slate with everything fixed and put into the new system so that we don't put garbage in and then come back months later and have to redo all of that work and redo all of the information. So that is part of why the discussion is occurring now, even though it's been kicked down the road for years and years.
Madam Chair? Yeah, so I'm not looking for a deep dive on each position, more of an overview. Maybe we can talk after the meeting, and maybe the best approach would be seeing what information is available rather than me requesting things that you can't provide. And it would be more of an overview compilation of the entire, I don't want to look at 500 employees each. I don't want to do that.
I think just examining the situation.
Yeah, just learn a little bit more, but I would like to look at, you know, what the bumps are, the positions and things like that, and just learn a little bit more about that, so.
Okay. So that item is going to be tabled. And the next is a resolution approving the tentative agreement between the County of Anoka and Law Enforcement Labor Services, Inc., representing the Work Release Unit for the calendar year 2021.
I'll move approval of the resolution.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments?
Just one. Let me get to it here. Just informational, on the contract from Barna, Guzzi, and Stefan, number 4, move from Roman numerals to Arabic. What's that about? I'm just curious. I read that and I thought it was odd.
I think just cleaning up the contract so it's consistent. There was some inconsistencies. They were using Roman numerals, and that now evidently they want to go to Arabic.
Oh, well, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's just a cleanup matter, a legal matter.
And the understanding here too, that the contract is for 5%, is that right?
I didn't get that.
In the contract, there's,
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Schulte.
the way I read this, it's a 2% merit raise for all employees that deserve the merit raise. And then they adjust the minimum range by 1% and the maximum of the range by 2%, but that doesn't apply to everybody.
okay, so some will get 5 and some will get 2.
I don't think so.
No.
We'll turn to Administrator SIVARAJAH to clarify. Oh, sorry, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, members of the committee. So essentially, we have a range where people are hired at the minimum and they have a maximum. So you have people who have reached their maximum and aren't eligible for any sort of an increase. They end up with a cash payout. So what happens is this moves the maximum range by 2% so that they would then actually be eligible for the 2% increase. So that is the effect of it. Now, you may have people who have been hired at the minimum that could potentially, I think, see a 3% at the most because of they would now be below that original minimum. But there is definitely not folks getting a 5% increase.
Okay, all right, thanks for that explanation.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, motion passes unanimously. In the last items, to consider for information purposes the resolution relating to the appointment of David M. Ziegelmeyer. Is that his name?
Ziegelmeyer is correct. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Joe McPherson. I'm a Transportation Division Manager and County Engineer. Today, I'm happy to support this resolution appointing David Ziegelmeyer as our interim county surveyor. The nice thing with this is he wasn't given much time after Chuck announced his retirement, and compliments to Chuck for hanging on until we could find someone to come in as a deputy county surveyor. But this will provide us 6 months to reevaluate the needs of the department and what we want to do in the future, and also provide us time to work with David and figure out exactly where we want to go. So.
Okay,
I'll move it, Madam Chair.
it's information.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just curious where he fits in the item we just voted on for the increase, going to a senior. Is he a senior surveyor?
Oh, yeah, Madam Chair. So he's actually, currently he got hired as the deputy county surveyor. So he'll be working out of class as the county surveyor.
Okay,
Yep,
right.
yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else to come before our committee? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.